Theories. As I escape. Theory that from what Sanders was saying that the little occult... Oh god, get up and go. Get up and go. That, Sanders was saying that the occult thing was not a invocation, but a revocation. Makes me think that Sarah Hawkins had something to do with whatever the Shambler is.
Damn! The gas!
Did I just die? No, okay.
Oh, my head.
Later. We need to move on.
Oh, we're chapter 6, okay. Pierce woke up in an asylum installed in the cellars of the Riverside Institute. He met Dr. Colden, a female friend of Bradley, who helped him escape. Wandering through the corridors of the place where Dr. Fuller reigned supreme, Pierce was able to talk to a man called Francis Sanders before dying in full view of the detective. He accused Sarah Hawkins of being the cause of his torments. Pierce finally left the accursed building, accompanied by Bradley and Colden. The companions in misfortune decided to use the Hawkins mansion as a hideout.
Who goes there? That nightmare again. I need a drink.
So, what I'm thinking is, since it was a revocation, not an invocation, was that maybe Sarah had something to do with summoning this thing, but then decided to try and get rid of it? Also, it's daytime!
No. I want to know what Bradley and Dr. Colden have to say about all this.
They're gonna say, you're spifferific, friendly person.
You're awake, Mr. Pierce. How do you feel?
Did I sleep long?
The day is only starting. It's fine.
Do you have any drunk? Hello? 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 Nope, we're not gonna drink. I see it there. We're gonna need water. Drinking is not good.
How's our fugitive? Dr. Fuller hasn't reported your disappearance to the force, but that'll come soon.
Bradley?
Who else would it be?
Mr. Pierce, are you all right? You look like you saw a ghost.
There are things I can't explain.
Tell us. What happened?
Well, you know... Hey, let's see.
I saw people in hoods. They had stolen Mrs. Hawkins' paintings.
Who are you talking about? Why would they do such a thing?
I don't know, but they were a threat. They've taken over the caves under the mansion. They were performing some kind of ritual. One of the entryways was under Charles Hawkins' office.
We suspect Mr. Hawkins of being involved.
My patients believe the old islanders used to worship primitive sea gods. Could they be the focus of the cult?
Am I hearing this right?
So you think me gullible?
No, not at all.
What else did you uncover, Mr. Pierce?
I want to talk to Bradley. Hello? Oh. Yeah, we don't have enough medicine to call him dead.
I heard you talking earlier.
Why am I not surprised?
I get the impression you two don't get along.
Intrusive and not very clever. Anyway, let's get back to the business at hand.
Oh, well, okay then.
What I'm sure of now is that the Hawkins case isn't just an accident.
And what brings you to that conclusion?
The fact that Charles Hawkins survived the fire.
I don't understand. Mr. Hawkins was buried.
That's what he would have you believe.
I have a hard time believing you.
You were there, Bradley. You even opened fire on him.
I'd remember that.
Why would he fake his own death? Do you think he covered up his wife's murder?
That's possible.
Seems hard to swallow. Don't you have anything more concrete, Pierce?
Why do I feel like you're fishing for my information, buddy?
Bradley, what do you remember?
I don't understand your question.
The night we went into the Hawkins mansion. You don't seem to remember the tunnels and what occurred there.
No memory of going down any tunnel. No, we were in the manor, then,
Then what?
The rest is quite blurry. I don't recall how I came back home.
And then?
I went to visit you at the hospital and called on Marie's help to get you released.
And you don't remember the events of the tunnel?
I don't. Let's talk about something else.
Maybe he is alive, but just reanimate. Did you see that? She went like poop, poop. All right, let's test our professional.
Given the energy he pours into Riverside, I presume it was Fuller's creation.
His father's, to be correct. He was a surgeon on board the Scylla. He founded the hospital in 1904 with funds from the Hawkins family before he died and his son Thomas Fuller took over.
Two families inextricably linked.
Most island families are that way. Captain Fitzroy's father was also a seaman aboard the Scylla.
Powerful families dominating everything.
Yes, and as you could tell, Dr. Fuller is like some crazed emperor.
He wouldn't be happy if he knew we were snooping around.
I know the risks. I don't fear him. Do you wish to know anything else?
I fear Cheetos.
I found a file bearing Sarah Hawkins' name in the Institute's basement.
It makes sense. A powerful family like the Hawkins had the means to hide such a disgrace.
But everyone knows the Fullers have been taking care of the Hawkins for at least a generation. And all were aware of Mrs. Hawkins' fragility.
Perhaps, but no one would allow a psychiatric internment.
From what I read in the file, Fuller used her as a subject of his experiments.
Francis Sanders and Sarah Hawkins, subjects of Dr. Fuller. Why those two?
Not lucky, I guess.
Dr. Fuller seems to be leaving a trail of corpses. Not to mention those strange machines, chains, and tools of all kind.
Yes, I've been telling you that Fuller uses his patients as guinea pigs.
What I saw was more akin to torture than medicine.
Do you even hear what you're saying? Dr. Fuller is highly respected.
It's the truth, Ethan, and I'll prove it to you. I'm listening, Mr. Pierce.
Well, I am done speaking to you.
I have flashbacks. They haunt me.
What did they do to you?
There was that Dr. Fuller and a nurse. Blood everywhere. My legs, the pain, I couldn't bear it. I was screaming. They injected me with something. I woke up at the Institute. Bradley was there.
And how you scared us. You seemed demented.
You likely woke up during the anesthesia. No wonder those memories haunt you. What in God's name were they doing to you?
What happened afterwards?
When I woke up the second time, I was in a padded cell. That's where you found me, Doctor. After you released me, I got a good look at what's in store for the patients of the Riverside Institute. Hallucinogenic gas pumped into the cells. An infernal machine, horrific medical experiments.
Impossible. Dr. Fuller would never do such a thing.
You should believe it, Ethan. What Mr. Pierce saw is precisely what I've been trying to prove. Did you discover anything else?
Should I have?
I met a Francis Sanders. Do you know him?
Of course, he's a patient. Or was. I haven't seen him since Dr. Fuller had him transferred to the basement.
He knew Sarah Hawkins, and that's what killed him.
What? How did he die?
I'm not sure I can explain it.
Tell me how Mr. Sanders died.
Well, it was a sort of crisis. Well, no, I'm gonna be honest.
I didn't see what, but something was there with us.
Of what do you speak?
Sanders said it was Sarah Hawkins' visitor. He spoke of it like a living being.
Sarah Hawkins? Have I missed something here? This makes no sense. I don't see how it can help crack the Hawkins case.
You really think she's involved? How could she have murdered Mr. Sanders?
Francis Sanders mentioned Mrs. Hawkins just before dying. It's no coincidence.
You know, Francis Sanders was a well-known art collector. I guess you can still pay a visit to his wife, Irene Sanders.
An art collector, you say? That's probably how they met.
If you plan on having dinner at the Sanders household, please spare the widow the tale of her late husband's suffering.
I don't agree. She deserves the truth.
But that truth may be biased. We don't know the bottom of it.
Hmm. Well, that's true. We just know it was like a thing, but he is dead. But we don't know exactly what killed him. I'm gonna side with her this time.
You're right. Without a plausible explanation for what I saw, let's not jump to conclusions.
That seems wise indeed.
Very well. I'll go to see Francis's widow. Perhaps I'll find a link between her husband's death and Sarah Hawkins.
Don't end up in the hospital this time.
I'll do my best.
Don't end up in the hospital, Ricky. So now we need to talk to Sanders' widow, which I'm sure is going to go just great. How many points do we have? We have 3. Let's get that up to 50. Well, now we're just... And... Which is the one that lets me... So investigation is the lockpicking. Okay. I'll remember that. And what about our sanity? Oh, we're going down. We are shaken. So is the point to like... I guess the point is like be sane by the end of the game, but I doubt we're gonna get that far. Well, no, I wonder if we have anything different that we can talk to these people about. Probably not, but...
Let us go now and learn the truth about what's happening on this island.
Dog, you are kicking my chair, boy. Lay down. My dog's kicking my chair. Alright, we're gonna leave. And, oh boy. Pierce, Colden, and Bradley decide to team up to solve the Sarah Hawkins case. They have a new trail to follow. Francis Sanders, an art collector and friend of the painter who died right in front of Pierce. The detective goes to his house in order to speak to his widow about the shambler, and that the unfortunate man mentioned before he died. So, yeah.
What can I do for you, sir?
Mrs. Sanders, I'm a private detective. We must talk about your husband and his ties to Sarah Hawkins. Can I come in?
You may. However, before we go any further, please know that my husband died yesterday.
That is precisely what brings me here.
Well, well, look who's here. You know each other.
We met briefly. Time enough to iron out a few matters. The main thing is that we understood one another. The brave detective has a talent for sticking his nose into my business.
I bump into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
It's a small island, detective. My island. It's better that it's you bumping into me.
You're investigating Francis' death. Why? Who hired you?
I spoke to Francis before he died. His story suggests a link to a case I'm working on.
Well, since this business has got nothing to do with me, I'll be in your husband's office, Irene. We'll carry on later.
Very well, Miss Baker. This way, Mr. Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable. It would seem that you have much to tell me.
Why does that painting look like her?
May I inquire as to when you had the opportunity to talk to my husband?
Yesterday, I met him at the hospital. He spoke to me about Sarah Hawkins.
Oh, of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah Hawkins and her paintings. Please forgive my tone. The fact is that I have not been allowed to see him since he was interned. You, on the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died.
Not a
How was
conjugal,
he?
though.
Were you present when he had this attack? What happened?
Well, he... Holy crap! He died screaming right before my eyes. Bloody mess, neck twisted, legs going like... You know what I'm saying? And it was like really gross. I mean, oof. Oof.
What happened to your husband is terrible, Mrs. Sanders. But from what I saw, it was inevitable. The man I met yesterday had lost his reason. He suffers no longer, if you would allow me such a platitude.
Of course. Thank you for your kind words. Nobody in that hospital would have deigned to speak them to me. However, it will require more than that to soothe my mind. I need to understand. How could this happen? In a reputed institute? And right before your eyes?
Well...
Did you not do anything to help him?
Well... Oh... Hopefully my eloquence is good enough.
Mrs. Sanders, I understand your grief, and I extend my deepest condolences to you. But I had nothing to do with the death of your husband. I've just arrived on Darkwater. I'm investigating the death of the Hawkins family.
The death of the Hawkins family? You mean it was not an accident? This accursed island knows only tragedy after tragedy. You too would be advised to flee it like the plague. Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce. I would be grateful if you could tell me what you expect of me, and then leave.
See, was that good? Was that bad? Was, like, I don't... Their responses don't really let you know if you succeed or fail. At least that's what I, like, it's... I can't tell a difference. So, she's like, oh, this, and then I have a tone like I hate your guts. But I mean, let's see what we got.
How did you come to meet Sarah Hawkins?
We were the wealthiest and most influential families on Darkwater. Of course we would know each other. And when Charles returned from Europe with his sweet little artist, she and her sinister paintings were destined to catch my husband's eye. He bought many of her works over the last 5 years. They adorn his macabre gallery.
And one of them looks like you.
May I ask you what Miss Baker is doing here? How do you know her?
My business with Miss Baker is private, Mr. Pierce.
But you do know what kind of business Miss Baker is in, don't you?
I am no fool. Please believe that much, at least.
I deduce that your husband already mentioned this dimensional shambler.
Well, you can imagine that's all he talked about. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege of such a shameful and miserable end to his life.
Hold on. The shambler is a painting by Sarah Hawkins.
Who else to paint such horrors? Take a look for yourself, if you feel so inclined.
Oh,
It is my only lead at this stage. I suppose I have nothing to lose.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again. But if you're so eager to see it, I would urge you to make the most of your visit. Because I count on ridding myself of that thing as soon as I can.
Thank you, Mrs. Sanders. I won't be long.
Oh boy. So the shambler is in a thing. Also, that looks like you in what you're wearing right now. Just saying.
Did she really care for him after all?
Dear Madam, I acknowledge the receipt of the letter in which you demand the body of your deceased husband. I am sorry to inform you that I cannot agree to the return of his body to you. At the moment of his internment, you signed a discharge allowing me to dispose of his body as I see fit. I extend my deepest condolences to you, Thomas Fuller. Oh no, is this... Oh god, is this gonna be a... This is gonna be a puzzle.
The day the shambler came into the Sanders' lives.
They all look super happy. Reconstruct. What am I reconstructing?
A house of artists.
An artist of houses.
Francis Sanders and Sarah Hawkins were close. Friends, even?
More than friends? You know, humpity humps?
Sanders' accession register. He wrote beside the shambler, "Finally." What did Sarah Hawkins fear so much that she didn't want to sell the painting?
That it would kill people? Alright, so we still need to... Oh, this is the painting
He
itself.
finally won. Was Sanders aware of his imminent doom? She didn't want Sanders to have the painting. She must have felt devastated. Was she jealous of Sarah Hawkins?
Jeez. Okay.
The shambler. I need to see it.
I mean... Alright. Apparently it made him rip out his eyes. You sure you want to go there, my dude? Alright then. You're your own man. I guess I can just snoop around everywhere too while I'm at it. Because that's what I do. Never mind, door's locked. Door's locked.
Let's see what this cylinder has to say once it's inserted in a phonograph.
A phonograph? Look at this phonograph. Every time I do, I hear things. Why is there blood in the thing? What the heck? That's not normal. That's not normal. Look at this phonograph. Okay. Oh, hello. Hi, talking to you. I can. I don't know if you want me. Would you read the book? What's it say? Sure. It's a kind of encyclopedia of monstrous and unknown creatures. I'm beginning to believe that they... Oh, no. That's not good. That's not good at all.
An old diary.
The volume spends some time on Reverend Wickwood's community. His wife expresses her worries about the strange dreams that the Reverend's congregation are having since their arrival on the island. Some members of the community, her husband included, began to speak of their vision as a messenger sent by God. She is scared that they will suffer the same fate as the lost tribe.
Strange. For months, Sarah Hawkins refused to part with her painting, to finally give it away for nothing.
Dear Francis, I beg you to give up all hope of ever owning this accursed painting. If our friendship has any meaning for you, please spare me the weight of guilt. I cannot be the architect of your fall. I beg you, my dear friend, forget the shambler. Well, he didn't.
I could use one of those.
Doesn't the sleeping pills, like, do something? The whale and the cod. Nope. Wrong buttons. Oh, sleeping pills don't do anything? They're just sleeping pills? So I wonder if I've gotten any more insane now. I did. Great. It is a work of a student in book form with all the observations are relevant. They lack the expertise of an experienced physician. However, the questions asked allow us to imagine new ways of exploring human anatomy. Medicine! And might as well. Oh. Alright, so we got the key. So when we come back, we will speak with Kat, and we will try and look at the Shambler and see what happens, but I believe I believe we're not going to get out of this game without going completely and utterly insane. So, you know, that's going to be a fun time. So when we come back, we'll talk to Kat, head to the Shambler, probably go more insane, and by the end of the game, we'll probably just be eating shoelaces and, you know, calling, you know, some teddy bear mammy. Be like, oh, mammy, teddy bear thing. Insanity. Oh, it made me dizzy. So, till then, y'all take care. And of course, have a good one.